Alrighty, welcome back everyone to episode 5 of Fireside Chats. I am your host, Papa Jabo, and I'm here with our lovely co-host as always.
D-Riz?
Heck yeah, and today we have something a little different than what we've done in the previous weeks, and something I know we are both super excited for. Adiras, what is it we are going to be doing this week?
We are going to compare our anime tastes. I know, it's the
That's
most
right.
weeb episode we've done so far.
I love that you said so far, but
So far.
a disclaimer going into this. These are our favorite anime, not what we think are the best anime, nothing like that. So if
Mhm.
anyone gets all up in arms like, I can't believe that, I don't care. Okay? Neither of
These
us care. This is what we have watched, and we went, oh my god, I love that. So,
these are
yeah.
our biased
Yes,
takes.
this is completely subjective, so I don't care about your objective opinions because they're wrong and they're not objective. All right.
Because I will admit that if I were to do this from a critical perspective, like really analyzing and like getting it into a percentage scale, then my list would be completely different than
Oh
what it
yeah.
is right now.
I think only maybe two of the options that I have in mind would remain in like an unbiased list. So,
That's interesting. Okay.
yeah.
That is interesting. Okay, so I think we should get right into it
Let's
with
do it.
your list. We're going to do this one at a time. We're going to start with Josh's list. So, really, we'll be discussing the top 9 of our favorite anime,
Yes.
but Josh has discussed that he really wanted to talk about top 10 as well. So, we are going to do an honorable
Yeah,
mention.
the one honorable I feel like just 9 is a weird number to do. I liked it, but I was like, and I know we both have watched a lot of anime, so I know we had more we wanted to talk about cuz when we were discussing making our lists this week, we're both like, this is a little harder than we thought. Um
Oh,
but
yeah.
it is not a list of like 10 to 1 at all. I think my number 1 is easy for me to pick, but after that, it becomes incredibly difficult, and that's too much effort to try and arrange that. So, number 10 is obviously our honorable mention. It's not in the top 9, but the rest are in no particular order. I don't believe we're doing
Yeah,
that.
we're not doing an order. You can say which one is your favorite, like just full
Yeah.
out biased wise, but I we're not gonna do. It's too difficult to do a specific order because I love so many shows so much. There's no way I could just like create a 1 to 10 list ordered of how much I like them because
Hmm.
I like all of them in different ways.
Oh, yeah. That's when you see my list, you're like, this man is all over the place. Literally, like, two of them are similar.
Oh, I think I'm gonna be the same.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm happy we both have a wide variety of what we enjoy watching, though.
so I think we should get started.
All right.
Josh,
I am
who,
going to send you image 1 for my honorable mention. So, my honorable mention is ReZero, Starting Life in Another World.
oh,
I
oh,
I remember talking to you about this, man. I love ReZero.
this is
It's so good. And the
you,
reason it's not in my top 9, honestly, is because it fell off a little bit after like the second season. With
what are you talking about? I
I
love the second
no,
season.
no, after the second season. Second season was
Okay,
phenomenal.
okay.
It's and like manga as well. I just was sort of not as into it. I think Subaru as a character, he had growth and stuff, but I don't like Amelia. I'll be honest, personal bias. But overall, this show hit different, especially the Subaru "I hate myself" speech. That that is one of the hardest speeches I think I've ever heard in anime, and it goes so well with the entire just meaning of this and like the fact I like the idea. A lot of times, like the other world or starting life in another world sort of genre, honestly, is not always the best. A lot of times they sort of suck. But
So,
I like the concept of ReZero, and I think it does it really well.
uh, well, okay, it's not on my list, so I can say this. I really, really considered putting this in my list because it
Uh,
is, without a doubt, one of my favorite especially isekais. It is
Oh
one
yeah.
of my favorite isekais of all time.
Oh yeah.
It is. There's no other story like it. I've never read or watched another story that is built up in this way. It's very much based off of this idea of like how in video games you just respawn over and over and over again, and then manipulating that into what would that be like in real life if you were
Yep.
really just every time you died you were just respawning and you had to keep playing until you somehow got the perfect ending.
Hmm.
It would suck. It is such a brilliant concept. I love this show. The emotion is raw. The characters are phenomenal. We both agree.
Rem,
Rem,
best girl.
yeah,
Best girl.
there's just
Yeah.
there's no
No.
argument.
No.
I don't know who the hell's going for Amelia.
They're weird.
There's there's a lot of weird people who are talking. Oh, what is her name?
Oh, the little fairy girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what
See,
the
that's
heck?
weird. Let's know.
What's going on there, bro?
I hate
I
the
don't know what
argument
you're
of like
on about.
she's actually like 2,000 years old, bro. She looks 12. That's weird. Don't do that. But yeah, I mean
I mean,
the character relations in ReZero also are just
don't get me
so
wrong,
good.
phenomenal character, but who is just like going into this like that's the one. That's the
That's what I'm
best
saying,
character.
man. That like no, like don't. She's a phenomenal character, but like got some weirdos out there. I'm gonna be real. All right,
I don't want to touch the whole
no,
Lolly
no,
conversation.
no, we're not doing that. Also, one thing is there may be spoilers in this episode. We probably should have said that earlier. So there's gonna be 20 anime slash manga that we discuss. So if we bring up one and you go, oh, I don't want spoilers for that, skip it because there probably will be. But yeah, I think ReZero has some of the best character relations and side characters in an isekai. And I believe it is the only isekai that is even on my list.
Yeah, I think that would be true for me as well, but I didn't put one on my list.
Nope.
Now I'm rethinking my entire. That is, you know what? I'm just committing to it.
Nope.
I'm
You have
committing
to
to
commit.
it.
All right.
I'm not rethinking it. We're
All right.
just going for it.
All right, baby. Well, why don't you get us started with your honorable mention?
Oh, uh, 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 I have to download the PNG.
Wait, you didn't
Uh,
have them all downloaded already?
not the honorable mention. No.
Oh, I figured you would have done that while we were talking about it
This
earlier.
is easy. This is easy. This is easy. I'm
Oh,
already drag and dropping it.
oh
It's
okay.
already it's happening. We're going.
Okay, okay.
We're moving.
Moving and grooving.
All right. So, uh,
I'm excited to see if we have any of the same anime. I
I
feel like we need
I
to have at least one. If not, I'll be amazed.
I think this is going to be controversial in the fact that it's not in my list.
Oh. Oh my. So, I wow. I cannot so for you guys who don't know, the honorable mention is Attack on Titan. Which is I don't even know if I can say debatably one of the like most highly regarded anime and one that even people who aren't
This
major
is
weebs know what it is. Like this is
this
everyone
is
knows.
this is what I mean by I was really rethinking my list because there is one anime in this list that I would absolutely replace with Attack on Titan, but I think we'll get into that once we go there.
Okay.
I just it it didn't come into like okay. It didn't come into my brain as like list worthy, and I honestly don't know why. I think there's just so much like how many I've probably watched 40 plus shows
Yeah.
total,
Oh, easily.
and trying to go through all of those in my brain, like I don't have a list or anything either. I was just like sitting there trying to go through all of them in my brain.
Mhm.
For some reason, Attack on Titan just didn't show up. It just wasn't in my brain.
Wow.
It's definitely there. It's definitely my top 10, which is why it's definitely in my honorable mentions.
That's like
It is one of the greatest shows of all time, probably. I mean, this is like my go-to. I would recommend this to
yeah, I
anyone.
would recommend it to anyone like, hey, I want to watch an anime like I don't know where to start. I'd immediately say Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
I'd be like this is where you should start. It highlights almost everything that can be great about anime. And like if I was making a list specific to like some of the best anime of all time, Attack on Titan would be on it because of how much it has done for anime as a whole in recent years. I feel like you can't deny just the impact it has had on our culture. It's so good.
It's also interesting because even though it's had this massive impact,
Hmm.
I haven't seen any other manga replicating it.
No, no, I haven't seen
Like
anything similar.
I haven't seen anyone else with the like weird German style and people grappling through roofs. That's just like it's its own thing, and no one ever tried to replicate it. And good because they wouldn't have
I
never done as good.
was gonna say I think some of them might be scared to try and replicate it because I feel like it might backfire
Yeah,
pretty
you
hard.
say that, but look at like the isekai drama
Yeah,
genre.
yeah,
Everyone's tried to replicate that. There's
yeah.
like 10,000 shows that are just isekai.
Good point. You make a very good
Did
point.
we explain what isekai is?
Isekai is when you're hit by a truck and you go into a video game. I'm sorry, that's one of the tropes, but like isekai is you're dropped into basically a video game world or
Well,
into another
it's
world.
yeah, it's another world. It literally translates into another
Another
world.
world.
So it's just stories where
Yeah,
like you're just living a normal life and then you're in another world.
yeah,
It's very common in anime.
yeah. It has become incredibly common.
Yeah,
All right,
too common. It's
yeah,
kind of annoying.
all right. I am dropping my first one. I'm just getting one that I know is kind of obvious out of the way.
Uh,
We've already discussed it a little bit.
yep. Yep.
One
We knew it
Piece.
was coming.
One Piece. I
The
cannot justify watching and reading reading over 1,000 chapters and watching over 1,000 episodes and not having it here. Like there's no way if I was not this in love with One Piece, I would have stuck around for this long.
uh
It has just everything that you could ever want. One, Oda has put his heart and soul into this. It's been going for over 20. It's been going longer than we have been alive.
Wait, when did it start?
97, I believe. 97
Oh,
or
really?
99. Yeah.
I kind of thought it was older than that.
No, I don't think so. Um,
That's that. That actually speaks more to just how good it is, and the
yeah.
fact that he's written a, a thousand a thousand chapters in that amount of time. What,
Yep.
20 years? That's crazy.
Yeah. So like they're like I can't even start describing it because again, we both know I could go on an hour-long tangent about how much I love One Piece. Every
You have with me.
I
I've
know.
had to listen to it. Every One Piece fan I know has gone on to a
It's
2 hour long tangent with me and talked about all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. I haven't started it. I watched the movie.
and the movie was banging.
The
I
movie
know it
was
was.
banging.
But like every
Did
character
convince me to start watching a thousand
thousand.
episodes.
Oh well, you're wrong. You're wrong for that.
Okay. I'm going to try reading the books. I'm
Yeah.
going to try reading the manga.
I would say if
But
you watch the anime, you need to make it to episode 37. That's where you're like, okay, I
okay,
understand the hype.
I will
But
try to get to episode 37. If I don't understand the hype by then I'm just gonna read it.
that works too, because reading it's phenomenal. But like, so I'm just gonna go super quick. All of the characters in One Piece are phenomenal. All of the Straw Hat crew has reasons to love them, and I know someone who absolutely hates on Usopp, and I don't know why. He's a great character, but not one of my favorite Straw Hats. But all of them have phenomenal backstories. Everything has great writing. Luffy is probably the best written protagonist I've ever seen. Um,
Like,
Really, he is. It is so good. The amount of detail and story that goes into this. Oda remembers things from like 700 chapters ago and brings them back for like a single panel in the manga, just for people to be like, "Oh my god, he didn't forget," and to remind people like, "Yeah, lore is still coming out. You guys don't know everything. It's crazy." But I'll leave it at that. One Piece is phenomenal. If you have like 7 years of your life that you can just give away to an anime, I recommend.
see, that is an interesting critique because that's one thing people absolutely hated about Naruto was that
Too long.
the writer of Naruto, no, characters. The
Mm.
writer of Naruto would literally forget some characters existed sometimes,
Oh my
and
god.
just like not put them in. And a lot of times the filler would put them in more than the writer himself was putting in these characters.
You know, after watching Naruto, I'm actually not surprised at that at all.
Yeah, people were really annoyed. Like Tenten was a completely ignored character apparently in the manga, just like hardly there, barely existed, was there like once every like 100 chapters.
Bro, but like, what does 1010 even do? Let's be real.
I mean, fair enough, but you could have
Yeah,
like
at least
the
give her a moment.
the whole show is just like power scaling, so just power scale her more. I don't get it.
Give
Like
her bigger weapons.
every time a character gets boring, they're just like, "Oh, here's a new weapon, here's a new power up. They trained, they got something cool. They're now an interesting character again."
Yeah,
They could have done that with her. They didn't.
yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with like, okay, no, 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 we'll get into no, 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 no.
Oh, well, I'm
Well,
guessing that's something that's what we're gonna be talking about soon.
we're gonna talk about Naruto later. Let's be honest here.
I sort of figured that's one of the ones I knew might be on your list.
All right, I think you could probably go into the next one. I mean, I don't have much I could say about One Piece other than the fact that I watched the movie. One Piece film read that movie. Very good. Love the music was phenomenal. The animation's insane, and I'll agree. Even in that movie, I didn't know a single thing about One Piece yet. I could feel that every single character was loved and like put major attention into. So
Heck yeah.
I can't complain.
Put some respect on their name. Thank you, D-Riz. All right,
You're welcome.
all right. It's on you, baby. What's your number? Your number 9.
Oh, you were gonna do back and forth?
Oh, do you? I didn't think you wanted to go straight down the list.
Oh, bro. Well, okay, yeah, no, no, no. 1 minute, I'll send mine. So but we're not numbering them. That's
No,
not in any particular order.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I feel like it'd still be more fun to go back and forth between what we both love.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, see, I created a whole thing of a 3x3 with all of mine on it.
Uh huh.
I don't want to send them all at once now, though, so I've got to find the individual image.
That's what I just did. I just told you it went on my laptop so I could send myself the individual images.
This is one we can talk about for sure.
Oh baby. Oh baby, can we? All right.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners is the first on my list that I'm gonna be dropping.
This shit's so good.
Josh, you're the one who got me into this show. I didn't have a Netflix subscription, so I I drove over to your house and I binged it.
Yep.
Holy crap!
That's
This is one
what
of
I'm
the best.
saying.
This is one of the best shows in general I've watched in the last like 3 years.
Yep.
The animation was phenomenal. Every character in it is perfectly written.
Mm-hmm.
The world, dude, they conveyed the cyberpunk world well. Okay, I've never played the game, but I have to say, I feel like they conveyed the cyberpunk world so much better than the video game.
Oh
I,
yeah.
I just like I felt connected to the world. I cared about the characters in the world. I wanted to see what the world was about. Like when the commercials for Cyberpunk came out, I was like Keanu, and that was like all I thought about.
My
But
God.
this show actually gave you like a list of characters that made you want to understand more about this universe, understand what it's about.
Yeah.
It is written so perfectly.
That's a Studio Trigger did such a phenomenal job because when with the first episode, when I'm just looking at the city itself, at Night City, it is exactly what I imagine the idea of cyberpunk to be. Everything about it, I'm like, this is like in my mind what cyberpunk means. And then you get actually into the characters, David, and everything that motivates him. Rebecca, I mean, you know how much I love Rebecca. But like every single character, even Maine was such a good mentor and like quote unquote teacher figure to David. But like I told you the only thing I have to say negative about it is I wish it was longer because I needed more. I was obsessed with this show. It was so good.
Yeah, it was a short show. I mean, I think total it was like
10. Just 10 episodes.
10 episodes, which is like when you add it up, it's only like 3-4 hours of content.
Yep.
It goes by quick.
It goes by
but
really quick.
It is a roller coaster. Every single episode takes you through ups and downs. You have so much development in every episode, so much plot development, character development. I mean, right off the bat, you get hit with characters like Lucy. You get to see, why am I blanking on the main character's
David.
name? you get to see David's like fucked up. Oh, well, sorry.
You're good.
Of David's messed up lifestyle, like just like it
Hmm.
literally that opening intro scene just hits you, and it's like, okay, okay, we got some crazy cybernetic robot going mentally insane, killing a bunch of people, and then oh wait, hold up, he was in a VR the whole time,
Yep. It
and
is.
it
It's
looks
crazy.
phenomenal. It's one of the best hooks ever. And then they take you through that whole episode. You get to see David's troubles, his whole life, and then all of a sudden his mother just passing away.
Yep. It.
It hits you through this roller coaster of like, okay, this is a really cool universe. There's some interesting things going on here, like the way that like the way that the society is built up, the way that David is trying to like, or David's mother is trying to get him to like rise through the hierarchy of the society,
Hmm.
and then how, despite how hard you try to rise through it,
Hmm.
no matter what, the system is not built in your favor, and you know
Yeah.
your your parent gets killed, you're all alone, you all out of money.
Hmm.
It's such a good, well written show.
Yeah. And that's like I obviously, as I've told you, everyone should know. I like to go to bed by 9 p.m. That is like the latest I like to stay up.
Loser.
I watched this show until 3 in the morning, and I sobbed.
Dang.
I Oh my god, and I was like wide awake watching it because I was on the edge of my bed, like this is phenomenal. This is what I have been waiting for, and I sobbed so hard because every single character has their own motivations and is so like it
Mm-hmm.
just in 10 episodes all have so much to them that you feel so connected by episode like 3. You're like every single character I'm in love with. And it is so good. And that's another one like Attack on Titan. If I had to recommend just a very short thing that people are like, I'm looking for something a little different to watch Edge Runners.
Yeah.
It's a different style, but it is so good.
Yeah,
Um
I definitely agree on that point. I will say the one character I can agree I didn't have enough time to really care about was Spider Hands.
mhm.
Yeah,
Wish we had more
you know,
Pillar or Pilar,
eh,
whatever his name was. Yeah.
yeah,
Wish we had more time on him. But it played way more into Rebecca's character, which worked.
that's true. That's true.
Um, and I will say I'm very sad because I did not include Edge Runners on my list, partially because
Really?
partially because I forgot it's an anime.
You know what? You got
I
a
forgot
point.
about. I was like, yeah, it is an like the second I saw it, I go, oh shit, yeah, that's an anime.
You've
I
got a
just
point.
yeah,
It doesn't feel like one. It
no,
feels like a Western show with anime style.
that it does. Okay,
Which is funny because I feel like the only reason the writing was that good was because Studio Trigger.
yeah, I mean Studio Trigger's freaking phenomenal.
Yo, here's my favorite. Okay, one last thing about Cyberpunk. My
Uh huh.
favorite thing about it
Yeah.
was basically when Studio Trigger was working with whatever studio makes Cyberpunk, the
Hmm.
video game.
Hmm.
They were like, okay, okay, I really like the script. I like all these characters. Can we get rid of the lolly character though?
Oh my god.
And basically the animators were like, Rebecca? No,
No, no, we're not getting rid
no.
of her. Everyone is going to love her, and everyone loves her.
They're just like, nope, we're just not doing it.
Nope, nope. And you know what? They made the right choice. All right, you ready?
Woo.
You ready for my next one?
Yeah, go for it.
I honestly don't know if you know this one.
My God, I've been wanting to watch this show for so long, my dude.
It is so
I
good.
I have yet to get into it, but there are plans in place.
Yep.
I have no idea what it's about. I have no idea.
So I'm not gonna give too many spoilers. This is Fruits Basket, and it is a sort of romance, kind of slice of life in a weird way.
Yeah.
It is so good. So basically, it takes this idea of the zodiac and implements the different characters are members of the zodiac, except for the main girl, whose name is Honda Toru, and she
Mm.
is sort of a dim-witted, silly girl who is an orphan because her mother just died, and
Mm.
her father had died well before that. Um, so she was like going to school and everything and trying to find a way to like live. and she stumbles into the Zodiac family people's like backyard where she's sleeping
Mm-hmm.
in a tent.
Okay.
And they're like, "What?" And then it goes from there, and relationships develop. And this is okay. So I sound like such a little bitch. I'm gonna be honest. I cried at this multiple times.
Of
Um,
course.
there are so many sad moments, and once you realize how I don't want to spoil too much because I know you're gonna watch it, but like a lot of the relationships are just so messed up, and
Yeah.
they're relatable if you can pull them out of the context of the show, which is why it can hurt so bad. But
Yeah.
the main two guys are the cat and the rat on the Zodiac, and the cat
Okay.
is sort of like you find this out right away. He's sort of like frowned upon in the family and seen as bad, and the
Mm-hmm.
rat is the one that like is loved and is phenomenal. So they have like tensions between them the entire show,
Okay.
but the reason for it isn't shown until like the third season, and it is so good. There's so much that you just have to wait for. It's not very long. I think it's only 3 or 4 seasons, but
I mean, I'm already sold on this show by multiple people, multiple YouTubers, and now you,
every
because
everything about it, all of the connections between characters. Again, Toru is a great protagonist. The sidemen, as I'm just gonna call them, are all great. And I like the style because there's literally no fan service or anything like that, which is something that I just have started hating in anime. So this does a great.
really,
Yeah, I've been starting to get sick of it.
oh boy,
But I'm just like, this does everything that I want this sort of romance slice of life to do, and it does
uh
it.
huh,
It brings it to another level.
okay.
So this is definitely up there for one of my favorites by far.
I know it's based off of like a girls manga. I know that much.
Yeah, it's you
Yeah.
know what? Well, they knew what
Dude,
they were writing.
honestly, those ones kind of slap.
They do.
Like,
They really
have
do.
you like sh- roast shojo all you want? If you didn't know, shojo is like girls manga, where
Yeah.
shojin is boys.
Yeah.
There's some fire shoujo out there.
There really is.
Okay.
On to
I
your
guess we
next
gotta
one.
go into my next one.
Yes, sir.
See, now I have to choose how I want to rank. No, there's no ranking. I
Yeah,
just
that's
gotta.
that's. I'm not ranking them. Like One Piece and Fruits Basket have nothing to do with each other. I was just like, I like them both.
Okay, so let's go with. Oh, this is one of my favorite shows. So I'm just gonna send this image.
Oh, one that I actually haven't watched, but I know I need to.
Ooh, you need to. So this is Fate Zero, specifically Zero. There's
This-
a lot of debate on what Fate is the best Fate, but in my opinion, it is Fate Zero.
Okay,
This
indulge me.
is
Why is Fate Zero the best Fate?
bro. Okay, so like Fate. Okay, dude, the Fate universe is so complicated. I can't even get into it. It is like there's like a whole timeline that is more complicated than the MCU right now. It is just like all these different branches with all these different like storylines that don't make sense. But there are really just two major fates that are like the main branch of Fate,
Hmm.
and they consist of Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night, which
Yes.
there are multiple adaptations of
Hmm.
with different. This is so hard to explain. Okay, so Fate Zero is the prequel to Fate Stay Night.
Hmm.
So technically, it was written afterwards, and it is about what happens before Fate Stay Night. Oh, and I gotta explain the whole Fate universe now. So, Fate Stay Night, on the other hand, was based off of a visual novel, which is basically like a video game that plays out like a book, but you choose options and
Yeah.
it changes how it ends, right?
Yeah.
And most of them are pornographic, and
Oh.
you're just trying to end up with the main girl. Like you're just trying to like choose which main girl you end up with at the end,
Yeah.
right? So, Face Stay Night is literally just based off of that,
Ah.
which is why there's 3 variations of it for each main girl.
That makes sense.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. It's
Uh-huh.
so dumb. So Fate Stay Night has more of the vibe of like classic anime where it's like it starts off the setting is a high school. It slowly changes setting as the show goes on. It's about like these younger characters. Whereas Fate Zero is like they took the entire concept of Fate, which is to explain as quickly as possible, it is essentially that there are mages in the modern world who secretly exist, kind of Harry Potterish. Uh, and the major mage families are trying to find the Holy Grail,
Oh,
which will grant them any wish of their choosing.
that's cool.
Um, but to do so, they must summon historical figures
Hmm.
from throughout history and have those historical figures fight other historical figures for them.
Hmm.
So there's essentially, I believe there's like 7 contenders every single what's called Holy Grail War.
Hmm.
And all these 7 contenders have to battle it out to the death using their historical figure that they have to find an artifact of the historical figure first to summon them. But yeah, basically every single fate is about this basic structure where it's a
Gotcha.
regular human who might have magic powers, usually they do,
Hmm.
and they summon a historical figure who has extremely OP powers and they have to battle it out to the death.
Wow.
Fate Zero is phenomenal because it takes this concept of the original Fate, Fate Stay Night,
Hmm.
and it adultifies it.
Oh.
It makes it so Fate Stay Night is all about this kid in high school who, along with 2 other kids in his high school, end up accidentally joining this Holy Grail War and then
Oh.
eventually uh winning. I mean,
Oh. Wow.
spoiler alert, whatever. But Fate Zero, on the other hand, goes on this whole plot line of years before this one specific Holy Grail War, in which there's a plot line of basically like these major mage families, assassins are involved, like large organizations are involved, and it is this entire political scheming thing with all these phenomenal, interesting characters. There's philosophical debates between like all these interesting historical figures on like what the purpose of finding the grail is and like what their moral purpose should be and what life is about. And it is such like I'm not doing it justice at all, but it is such an interesting storyline
Hmm.
that is very unpredictable, very interesting. Some of the greatest characters in the world. Saber is best girl, whatever. Uh, it's just a 10 out of 10 watch for me. And this goes back to when I was thinking about the criteria of like, what do I rate my favorite anime I buy? I was thinking about specifically, I was thinking, okay, I have an emotional connection to almost any anime I've watched,
Hmm.
but which anime would I rewatch is what I thought about.
Ah.
And
That's good.
Fate Zero is one of those anime that I have rewatched and I loved it just as much the second time. It is still a 10 out of 10 for me after rewatching it. In fact, it might be even more so
Hmm.
after rewatching it because there's just all these little details in it that I never picked up on.
Hmm.
All this very intricate dialogue
Hmm.
that I didn't, I needed to have a rewatch on. And it is overall just one of my favorite shows of all time.
Rewatchability is so important because if I mean obviously like One Piece, I'm not rewatching that. That would take me too long. But
Well, we both know someone who has.
yes, yes we do. But also like if you can rewatch something and get those same emotions again,
Yeah.
that's huge because a lot of shows you're like, okay, I lied. It was just like surface level what it showed.
Yeah.
From what you said from Fate Zero, it goes so deep that it's something that I will watch. Now it is on my list. That's one thing I was so excited for tonight is because I know we do have different things, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a
So
couple things to watch tonight.
we have very different tastes, but also the same.
Yep. Um, so I'm excited for that, but It sounds like a good show, especially with history and philosophy. Like that is right up both of our alleys.
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Now, next up for me, um, this ooh, I'm gonna use this one. I'll go here.
Oh, oh,
This
why did I even think? Well, okay, first off, you should have chose the
Brotherhood. It's Brotherhood, not regular one.
yeah, Brotherhood.
It
Just to
is
clarify,
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is
Brotherhood.
100%. So yeah, don't use this image because I couldn't find a good one with Brotherhood for some reason.
Okay, okay.
Um, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the greatest pieces of media I've ever consumed. There are two there are two shows on here that I will say are the greatest pieces of media I've ever consumed, and Brotherhood is one of them. There is almost nothing I would change about this show. Edward and Alphonse Elric are two of the best main characters ever written. Their story, where they start from, and the journey that they take together as alchemists is insane. It is so good. And even all the like side stories and characters pull on your heartstrings very hard. And I don't think I
Mhm.
cried at Brotherhood. There was plenty reason to. The scene with the daughter and the dog. That's all I'm gonna say. Um,
Oh, God.
that
Did I send you the picture of somebody cosplaying that dog?
oh yes you did, and I wanted to throw up. It made me that uncomfortable because of how gut wrenching that scene is. Um,
Oh no, I'm
but
a bad person.
no, it's okay. It's still funny. But like
I'm so desensitized. I'll be honest. Didn't do that much for me. I might have laughed a little.
when you watch, oh my god! So this is also one of the first anime I watched, which is why
Oh,
it may have hit so hard. But I
that's okay. That can be
yeah
a very major influence. Yeah.
yeah. But I also cannot argue with people who will say this is one of the best things they've ever seen because it is. There is so much good. With the seven deadly sins being in here, lust, greed, all them as homunculi. The main antagonist is phenomenal. This idea of, I mean, just human emotions taking over, sacrifice, all of these things you have to give to get. It is so good. I
Dude,
love this
it's,
show.
it is an ELA teacher's wet dream.
Oh my god, it is. I wasn't going to word it like that, but you are so right, and I think that is by far the best way to put it.
No, it is phenomenal though. I have
Yeah.
to agree. All the villains are really interesting,
hmm
and that's a major thing in anime. Sometimes the villains fall flat. Uh,
The villains here
well,
just don't.
yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm looking through all the anime. I lied. If it's a good anime, it probably has a good villain.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It has to.
But there's so many villains. I'll
hmm
admit, Greed was a little annoying to me.
I think that was part of. Wait, do you
I think
mean
it's
greed or
part of.
envy? Greed or envy?
Oh, I think I'm thinking of.
Envy.
Is
The
Envy the one who turns into a big?
Yeah, that's envy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the point. Envy is supposed to be
yeah.
annoying.
Dude, he is so annoying. I
That
could
was the
not stand.
point. It did it so good.
I
Because
know, but
imagine envy as an emotion. It's you like wanting everything else. And that's what of
yeah,
like other people. And that's what envy did, and it was so good. But greed was a great character because I mean, I love the idea that it took the I mean, obviously human emotions, da 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 da. Greed turned against who it was supposed to be serving because it's greedy and it wanted more power. And I'm like, oh my
yeah,
god, why haven't other anime who use this done this before? They're
yeah.
dumb. Like it is right there. It is literally in the word, and they haven't done it. And Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood did it fucking phenomenally. Pardon my French, but it was so good. But
I have to say, speaking of Greed though, and ReZero, they did Greed pretty good, bro.
they did do greed pretty good.
They did
They
Greed
definitely
pretty
did.
good. All
Um,
right, but Full Metal Alchemist, I have to say one of my favorite conclusions. Okay, one of my favorite scenes in all of anime actually
mhm,
is the scene where Envy
mhm,
Envy is like they're in the tunnels and Envy's like breaking away
yeah.
and what's his name, Captain
Mustang.
Mustang
Yep.
snapping on him.
Yep.
Dude, that is one of the most fire animations in the world. Whenever Mustang pulls out he just snaps and
Yeah.
fire just like explodes from his fingers
Mhm.
into people.
Mhm.
It is one of the coolest concepts of a power ever.
Yep.
Because obviously you've seen like Avatar: The Last Airbender type
Yep.
of fire bending,
Yep.
but like this is a fire move where he's not moving, he's literally just standing there staring down his enemy and just snapping, and it is just like the most
Yep.
OP power move,
It's like an
and it is
ignition switch, and he's just like fucking blow up. It's
it is
so good.
so badass.
That's.
Yeah.
I mean, I have multiple favorite scenes from here. I mean, the scene where, and again, major spoilers, everyone listening. So if you don't want to hear anything about this, like skip. But where Mustang is blind and he starts crying and says it's a terrible day for rain. That
Oh yeah.
that is so sad. And then Edward giving up his alchemy so Alphonse can have his body back because he knows his brother matters more to him than alchemy ever could. That
Mhm.
one. Those scenes are so, and there's so many more good scenes that I could talk about, but like those two specifically are ones where I'm like, wow, this is why this is for so many people just one of the greatest animes they've ever watched.
Yeah.
So
It is phenomenally written.
yeah,
Um, I think it's time to move on to the next one.
yes sir.
This is gonna be like a 2-hour episode, Josh.
Oh yeah, it is, but it's gonna be fine. People will
Okay,
enjoy it.
I think we've been too normie right now. We're too normal.
Uh huh.
I think it's time I take a weird choice. Okay,
All right, weird
this is
choice is up next.
you know, I think a lot of people are gonna see this and say, top 10?
Okay.
Really?
Uh huh.
And I think you're gonna have a similar reaction.
Okay, I'm excited. Oh, that was not what I was expecting. I respect it, and I
Dude.
think my next one I think is gonna be about the same for you, but this is I have not watched all of it, but I have read some of it and I've seen some scenes from it, and it looks adorable. So why don't you tell our lovely audience what you picked?
I think it's Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a specific moment in my life where the show hit different,
Uh huh.
and I can't explain it. And now I have like this emotional connection to it that I can't unbreak. Where like I needed something weird in my life. I just needed something wholesome and happy,
Uh huh.
and it hit right in that moment. Like I was just like going through a low point,
Uh huh. That'll
and
do
this
that.
show was the show. It just like every episode, all the colors are just happy colors, and everything about the show is happy. It's all goofy. The
Mm-hmm.
whole thing's a comedy. To explain the plot, it's about this regular normal lady named Miss Kobayashi, who is a regular Japanese lady who works every day, works her butt off, is miserable with her life,
Mm-hmm.
and lives to come home and sleep after working like a 15-hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
And one day she gets drunk, wanders out into a park, and accidentally runs into a dragon who has a sword stuck in it. Uh, she drunkenly helps this dragon out of this unfortunate situation and then becomes friends with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then next day, she wakes up, just having no idea what happened. Excuse me. Sorry, sneezy.
Bless you.
Um, Having no idea what happened the day before, like not remembering any of this, she opens her door. She's late for work, and this dragon is just at her door, and she's like, "What the actual f is this?" She's like, she doesn't remember any of it, and
Uh
basically this dragon turns into like a person and is like, "Yo, we hung out last night. You said I could be your maid."
huh. What a great story. See, I love again, you're right, it's weird and it's different. And it is
It's
so good because of it.
it's so weird, and it's exactly what happens. And she's like, "Wait, what? Why would you become my maid?" And then she's like, "Wait, I'm late for work." She's like, "I gotta get there quick." And she's like, "Well, I'm a dragon. I can fly you there." And then that's the beginning of this weird ass friendship. and it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. More dragon people show up, and it's just wholesome content. There's like some quotes in here, Josh, that I take with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. They just like they hit in that moment. There's this
Yep.
one quote. I think it's like because I'm like coping with the idea that I'll be like Kobayashi someday. I'm just gonna be a miserable worker.
Oh, just go into your 9 to 5
Yeah,
nonstop.
just
Yeah.
going through my 9 to 5, coming home miserable, going to sleep, waking up. But then like this whole show is about the concept of like, nah, they're the people in your life who will make it worthwhile,
Yep.
and they're gonna make your life feel, you know, bright and happy,
And that's a
and
good
that's
message.
and that's why I love this show. Yeah.
It's a great message. And that's one thing. I mean, almost all of mine have some form of message.
Hmm.
Which the next one I'm going to do, I know I was gonna do different, but I don't think I am. That'll come later. The next one that I have is going to be a big message. But Miss Kobayashi's, I think it's so cute and silly that like that message of like, yeah, it's just the people who make life worth living. I
Yeah.
think it's maybe a little lost sometimes on people because they're like, "Oh
Mm.
my god, it's so cute," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is cute. This show is
It's
adorable."
it's too wholesome
Yeah.
to take seriously
Oh yeah.
sometimes.
Oh yeah, it is.
Well, it's
Uh,
not wholesome. It's not a wholesome show, but
okay. But like just looking at the animation style is wholesome.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
give
yeah,
it
yeah.
that. But like it's adorable.
Uh,
And I mean it has obviously its
it
moments.
also the animation kind of pops off sometimes. Like there are times where I'm like, this is an action anime. I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
so when there was a fight between dragons, like that went hard. That went
It,
real
it
hard.
it goes real hard.
Yeah, but it is yeah. That's definitely one that I was not expecting to see on here, but freaking adorable. And this one I think you knew I was putting on here. This is actually my movie choice. In my opinion.
Uh,
Uh
I,
s-
didn't- I didn't even think about the fact you put it on there, but you did say movie choice.
uh-huh.
I didn't at all think about what that movie choice could be. I gotta be real.
So obviously like the movie I chose was A Silent Voice, and this is a newer one. And when I
Hmm.
was thinking of movies, I was stuck between a lot of Studio Ghibli stuff because I love Studio Ghibli. But then I stopped for a second and I realized I've watched A Silent Voice 9 times now, and
Whoa.
every single time I have cried because this is a movie that hits very close to home for me and my personal experiences because
Yeah.
there is I don't think any movie, and the fact that this did not get nominated for awards in 2017 is a major disservice to animation across the world. The fact I think it was Boss Baby that beat this out. Like there's no way.
Heard about that?
There's
Yeah.
absolutely no way anyone can justify that to me because this movie is perfect. It is my favorite movie of 2017. It is
Yeah.
animated so well. Everything about it. The fireworks scene is so good. But so I'll go through a quick little synopsis. So you have this you go basically between two different time points. And one is when these kids are in like I think it's like 5th grade, and then when they're in high school. And when they're in 5th grade, the main character, he is sort of a bully to this girl who comes to their class, and she's deaf. So she
Hmm.
can't hear, and she really struggles. And he is a horrible person to her in 5th grade. He ends up ripping out her oh my god, what are they called? Hearing aids multiple times, throwing them in water, breaking them. Um,
Hmm.
and she ends up like being bullied out of school, and she doesn't go to the school anymore after 5th grade. Which
Okay.
ends up after they realize like all the kids and like the teacher and the principal get involved, and they're like, "Who's been bullying her?" And everyone's like, "We know it's you," to the main character. Um, they basically he gets bullied and harassed horribly, like even worse than what he was doing with his friends to the girl. And that's the best part is all of his friends and all the people in the class refused to acknowledge anything that they did wrong. It was all put on him, as he was the only one who did
Yeah.
anything wrong when everyone was a part of it. So
Hmm.
he ends up getting bullied, and he feels like absolute shit growing up because of it, which is understandable. And then because he broke so many of her hearing aids, his mom ends up paying the girl's mom for new hearing aids, the price of all the ones that he has broken, which is a ridiculous amount of money. She ends up ripping a diamond earring out of her ear to help pay for it. And she gets back in the car and there's blood dripping down her ear. And I'm like, oh my God, that's like sort of horrifying and so sad to realize because his mom's a hairdresser. She doesn't make a ton of money.
Mhm.
But then we cut to current time and he is ready to commit not alive anymore.
Oh
Like
no.
the opening scene of the film is him standing on a bridge, ready to jump off, and then some kids are setting
Dang.
fireworks off along the like river, and he stops and he doesn't, and he goes home. Um, and eventually that gets brought up, and he talks to, and his mom is the one who brings it up to him, like, what's up with that creepy calendar? You have all the days like ripped off after like April 20 something, and he tells her like, I don't think I can keep doing it, and that hits hard. Um, but at that moment, he also realizes like a little before that, he went and saw the girl again, so he could apologize because he
Mhm.
was like, I just wanted to say I understand how horrible I was to you, and you deserved so much better than that. Um, I was hoping we could be friends because that's what you said you wanted to be. So he learned sign language in this time so he could talk to her.
Oh.
Um, so they start talking, become friends, and a lot goes on. And then near the end of the movie, so the girl also who's deaf is struggling very hard with depression because being the only deaf person is incredibly hard when everyone looks at you because you're different, because you can't do what they can, because you can't talk normally, because you can't hear what you're saying. So he becomes like best friends with her and they hang out like all summer and they end up going to a fireworks festival together. Um,
Mhm.
at the fireworks festival, she ends up going home because she said she's tired, and he ends up going back too because the girl's little sister is loves to take pictures. She goes, "My camera's at home. Would you mind like going home and grabbing some batteries for it too?" So he goes back to their house, grabs it, and he sees her standing on the balcony outside, and then he sees her get up on the ledge of the balcony,
Oh no.
and this is, in my opinion, one of the best animated scenes I've ever seen with the fireworks and everything. It is so good. It's incredibly sad. Um, but she jumps and he runs over and grabs her hand and makes sure she doesn't fall. And he pulls her back up. But as he's pulling her back up, he slips over the edge and he falls into the river below. And it is a very shallow river. And the scene cuts with him like saying like a lot of things that he regrets and stuff like that, and blood starting to fill the water. And then you see the lights of sirens coming. And then after that, it's sort of both of them realizing how much they do want to live because they found people who matter to them and people who care that they're there. And this entire time in the movie, the main character has blue X's. Anytime we look through his eyes, everyone's face. By the end of the movie, everyone's blue X's fall off because he feels like he's worth it and he can look them in the eye again.
Oh.
It is, especially, I mean, in today's age where mental health has become such a major issue,
Mhm.
um, it is a must watch for me. It is 2 hours long. You have to sit down and watch this movie to understand just how much it can do and the true meaning behind it. I will never. This is my favorite movie all time by far, and I would recommend anyone looking for a good movie to watch. This is number one.
Dude, you sold me. It sounds like an Oscar-worthy movie.
It should have been, but Boss Baby.
Yeah, I heard I remember reading about this that like the Oscars were like, "Oh, we're not doing any more anime movies. We're not counting them." And it's like,
Why not? Despite
"Bro, yeah, why? Why?
despite
Just
Spirited
because you
Away,
don't like them?"
literally Spirited Away one, and it is arguably
Yeah.
the greatest animated movie of all time. Yeah, the Japanese animation is typically better than ours. Like, love
Yeah.
Disney and Pixar all you want. I'm sorry, but usually Japanese movies are better. They just are. I'm sorry if you hate
Yeah.
subtitles, but suck it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Animation-wise, definitely true.
Yeah. I'm sorry I went
All
through that
right.
entire movie, but on to your next one.
See, now I'm debating if I should hit you up with another sad show or take it into a different direction.
I'll be honest, most of mine are pretty emotional. I think I have like two more that aren't, but most of mine are like ones that hit me on an emotional level.
All right, cool. Because none of mine are. No, I'm joking. All of mine hit me on an emotional level. That's why I
Yeah,
put them here.
that's fair. Fair
You
point.
know what? I will put the most emotional one I have on my list,
Oh God, I'm about to
and we'll
cry.
just get through it. Uh,
Oh no. No. Yeah, this is probably the first sad anime I watched, and this one
yeah,
broke. This is like what broke me and got me really
yeah.
into this type of genre.
Oh, so for anyone who doesn't know, this is Your Lie in April. This is a anime about a pianist,
Hmm.
who,
He's sort of
God,
he lost the music in his life. It
yeah.
didn't.
So
Yeah.
he loses the ability to be attached to music. He was a childhood pianist, and now he's in like middle school, and he doesn't feel attached to music, and it is for various reasons relating to his mother and the way she treated him, trying to train him to become a great pianist.
Hmm.
And then him reconnecting to music once he meets a new girl who is a very talented violinist
Hmm.
and falling in love with this girl. I don't want to go into any spoilers. I think we both know enough
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, we both do. This,
It-
if you're gonna get into, I mean, sort of sadder drama, romance, anime sort of thing, I think this has to be a number one for a lot of people. I mean,
Mhm.
we've talked to our friends about it too. All of them have sobbed at the show, and none of them are little emotional bitches like we can be. This can make a grown man cry with how emotional it is, and just the writing is so good. One, and I mean, both of us are music nerds, so like the fact that it's music really also hits
Yeah.
a little deep. So
So
it's
that's
so good.
that's definitely a part of it for me is that I can relate with a lot of the stage performance stuff.
Mhm.
It's definitely a little over dramatic at times,
Oh yeah,
the stage performance stuff in this show,
oh yeah.
but I can relate with a lot of the experiences, the buildup of anxiety,
Hmm.
the emotions built up within the performance itself, the emotions that the crowd feels, and like that whole dynamic. Um, so that definitely helps me connect a lot with it. I can definitely see how people who aren't into music or have never performed or like never tried any band stuff would be like, what am I watching?
Hmm.
This is very dramatic, very I
Yeah.
mean, it's about music.
I,
It's an
I I
anime
was
about
like,
music.
this is the definition of
Yeah.
drama. It is, but I think it's done well. Again, if you're right, if
I
that
think it's done
emotion part,
phenomenally.
oh yeah, it's
It,
done incredibly well. It is so good. But I guess yeah, if that like really emotional aspect isn't for you, may,
well, even just the music
yeah,
aspect, like classical music, I love
it's
classical music. It
it's so relaxing.
bangs. I don't know what you're
It
talking
does bang.
and the emotion within it.
Hmm.
But like, I mean, even just as like a character drama, this is
It's good.
even if you're not
It's
into
great.
that type of music, it's phenomenal. It
Yeah.
is amazing. As a character drama, it is
It,
10 out of 10.
yeah, and I mean the ending. Whew. Whew. We
Yeah.
won't get too far into that though.
Yeah, say probably go
Yeah.
on to the next one already.
Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna switch up. I'm gonna do. I think one of my last like really fun ones. Actually, this is probably my only really just fun one. And I
Oh
think you
God.
might have expected this one. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I freaking love this show, and I know we've talked about it in depth. It is so different, specifically in animation style. What you are so used to seeing in anime is these big boobed girls and this completely normal looking dude. JoJo's flips that on its head because the dude's got bigger tits. All of the dudes have pecs that are just ripping out
Hey,
of their shirts.
I don't know what you're saying about the girls in this show. I'm sorry, but
I listen,
Misa, come on.
listen.
Lisa,
I'm
bro.
listen. I'm not debating that, but you can't look at Jotaro and tell me that that man is not packing double D's with his incredibly muscular pecs. But I all of the JoJos. I mean, Jonathan, Joseph,
Um,
oh my God, how do I just
Man's looks
Josuke.
like a Lego block though.
But it is so good. It is so good. And
It is.
this parts 1 and 2 were a little slow, but then you get to part 3 and stands are introduced, and you're like, oh my god.
Okay. So this is what I was about to ask you. Favorite season, Josh? What is your favorite season?
Mine is easily part 3, and I understand the arguments for a lot of the parts that
So
come after.
Stardust Crusader.
Stardust Crusaders, because they are the OGs, and I absolutely loved the relationships between the Stardust Crusaders. Polnareff was my favorite character for so long, but then I started falling in love with Kakyoin. Avdol, so good. And then, oh my god, Iggy's great. Joseph as an older Joestar is so good, even if his stand is completely useless.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, almost every episode is just another fight, but you learn a lot more about the characters. Dio is one of the best written villains I've seen. He's so good, and it comes back constantly. The Joestar bloodline is awesome. It is, I mean, if you're looking for hot men, this is the anime to watch.
I just love how in like season 4,
Uh-huh.
they're like, how can we have more people with stand powers? And they're like, let's make it so that Joseph cheated on his wife.
Yep. It's so funny. But like it also that's Joseph's character. He was a womanizer. He was such a womanizer. You saw it in part 2 when he literally tried banging any woman he saw, which was hilarious, but I mean, part 2 was
I love part 2.
Part 2 was great. Part 1 was
so ridiculous.
Part 1 I think is where it was trying to find its footing. And then with
I
Jonathan,
love part 1.
I couldn't see, but then watching the other parts, I'm like, part 1 is literally F tier because these are all amazing, but none of the parts of this are bad. They are all
Part
good.
1 definitely has the worst like power system.
Oh yeah,
Like the power system in part 1 is
Yeah.
horrible. It's
'Cause
just
you don't have
it's so
Hamon, you
basic.
don't have
It's-
stands. It's just
well, no.
punch.
It was just Hammond. It was literally just Hammond.
Part 1 didn't have Hamon. That didn't come until part 2.
Wait, what? No, that was in part 1.
No.
Do you not remember the dude with the top hat teaching? What's his name?
Oh yeah, that was like near the end. But like that, yeah, it wasn't
That
used extensively.
Yeah, it was for like the last like.
Part 2, on the other hand, Hamon was the entire thing, and
Yeah,
that's when we met. What was his name? Caesar. Oh my
Caesar.
god, sad. That was sad, but so good.
Yeah.
JoJo's. I love stands. They are phenomenal. I've been in a D&D campaign that was JoJo's based, and it was so much fun. All the JoJo's are great. I don't have like too many bad things to say about this anime.
Do you have a
I love
favorite JoJo? Oh yeah, you already said it was.
it.
Well, no. Specifically, which JoJo is your favorite though?
See, I love Joseph. I'm gonna be honest. I know
Mm.
there are probably people who will hate on me for that.
Dude,
But he
no-
appeared in
no-
3 parts. But also Jotaro, he's so good. Jotaro is such a good character. Star Platinum is a bangin' stand. I think I have to give it to Jotaro, with Joseph being an incredibly close second.
See, my issue with Joseph is that Purple Hammond is so, or purple.
Purple.
What is it?
Uh,
His power system, his stand
yeah,
is horrible.
It's so bad.
It's so boring.
You-
It's just like
You need an old camera to use it too. It's so bad. Spirit photography. Like that's not good. But
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Jotaro, probably one of the best.
mhm.
One of my favorite scenes in all of anime is just when they're doing the game. They're playing the
Yep.
baseball video game,
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
just Jotaro going, no, yes.
And the dude slowly freaking out. Yeah, that one's fun. That's such a good scene.
It's so good.
And I love the fact that the stands all stand for something. Like at first you have the tarot cards, and then you get to the gods of Egypt, and then you
Mhm.
get to bands, like Red Hot Chili Peppers being a band, and it's based on electricity and can just literally melt people with its electricity. That is so freaking good. It is such a good stand.
Did you watch it English or Japanese?
Oh, Japanese, all the way.
It made me die laughing when all of a sudden they're like Red Hot Chili Pepper.
It's so funny. It is
Like,
so funny. But all the stands are pretty cool. I love the idea. The power system is just it's so different that I think that's what really made me fall in love with it. But yeah, JoJo's pretty great show. I gotta love it.
okay, here we go. I have to be a base normie. I know.
Say
You
I
gotta
know what
fight
it
me
is.
on this
No.
one.
I will not fight you on it because
No,
yes,
you.
I've watched it and I know that you love it. It's just it is not for me.
So anyway, here's the reason Naruto is the greatest anime. So no, I'm
Oh,
joking.
okay, and that's where we're ending this one. Thank you
No,
guys.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm not gonna talk too much about this. I feel like everyone's Naruto'd out. Um, I just feel it's one of my first. It's my first anime, really, when you think about it. So it has a special place in my heart. I've watched it twice, Josh. So when I talked about,
Mhm,
whether or not I could watch something twice,
mhm.
I watched this twice, and it's still one of my favorites. I definitely skimmed through it the second time. Like I knew where the boring parts were, and I was like,
Solid.
let's
Skip
just
that.
skip a little. Yep, yep. Oh, this is a flashback I've seen 20 times. Yep, just skip that. Yep,
Mhm.
sounds good. And I swear, if you were to cut down this show and get rid of the overuse of flashback scenes, the over recap stuff, the over explanation of things, this would absolutely still be like as people's top three.
Oh
I
yeah.
do think that. I do think that. I think that the fact that it is so jam packed with filler, with with flashback scenes, with just absolute unnecessary balagna that they're just trying to pull this for another like 100 episodes with.
Mhm.
That definitely bogs down the show. It is one of the best anime of all time, though. That is just my opinion.
I and I've watched Naruto.
Hmm.
For me, it is just it doesn't hit as hard, and maybe that's because I've watched Bleach and One Piece first,
That's
and
probably why.
I
That is probably
I
why.
just I think both of them are overall better. And personally, you guys, if you get mad, do it. Naruto, I will not deny the effect it has had on American culture in anime, though, because when people think anime in America, one of the first things that comes to mind is Naruto. And
Yeah.
I can't deny the effect it's had on people. It has been huge. It has gotten a lot of people into anime, which is great because I think anime is a hated on art form for no reason by a lot of people in America
Hmm.
specifically. But it has good characters. Kakashi Sensei is one of my favorite characters in all of anime. I actually don't know if I've told you that, but I think he is one of the best written characters I've ever seen. Um,
He's also one of my favorites.
he is so well written. Everything about him is so good. Um, but if you're looking for something fun, and Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, if you watch Boruto, you're a loser. Um, I like I think I'm one of the few. I like original Naruto better than Shippuden. Um,
Hmm.
but I think again, I see why Shippuden is so loved. It is good. It is very, very good. I can't deny that. Objectively, it's great.
Yeah.
Subjectively, it's just it doesn't hit me as much as I wish it would. And there are scenes that do. Jiraiya dying is one that I'm like, okay, I can cry
Ooh.
at I can cry at that. Uh, everything with Kakashi, Obito, all of that. I mean, I'm like, huh. It's so good. Itachi and versus Sasuke, such a one of the best fights in all of anime is
Yeah.
those two. And I'm like, the side characters are pretty good. I don't think it focuses on enough of them. That is one of my biggest complaints. Is
That's true.
I wish that you saw more of people besides Team Seven. Um,
And and I'll definitely say I'm biased because it's the first of the big three I've ever seen, and I
mhm,
think it's the only of the big three I've seen so far.
yeah. So it's great. I'm not going to hate on it because I know you love it. And it is great. I objectively I cannot deny that.
Right. I
All
think
right.
it's time to move on.
All right. I will.
We can only talk about Naruto so much.
Yes. I'm going to go to another. So my next three, I think, are all going to be like little slice of life sort of kind of ones. And
Okay.
this one is one I know you and I have talked about and you've made fun of me for.
Oh, come on. That's just a based opinion. What do you mean?
Toradora. I Love this show so much. I realized something about myself when I watched it and when I've talked to you
Oh
about it.
no.
Nope, it's something you talked about and you pointed out to me. I was
Oh
like, we're not bringing
yeah.
that one up though. But I was like, yeah, oh my god, you're right. Um, but
I mean, you figured out what your type is.
yeah,
That's
yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I realized, and I was like, oh, maybe that's why I love Tyga so much because she's such a great character. And I go, maybe she's not a great character. Maybe I just have a problem. But yes,
yeah.
Tyga is freaking hilarious. But I mean, this show is just—it's so good. One of my, I say one of my favorite scenes a lot. One of my favorite scenes of slice of life genre is Tyga dragging the protagonist out of the pool and basically saying that no one can touch him after he saves her from drowning. Um, Saying that no one can touch him because he's completely hers. And that's like the first time you fully realize, like, yeah, she's completely in love with this dude. And she doesn't act it because she's very tsundere. Uh, but it's so cute. And then the ending, like I fall in love with it because I mean they both realize how much they love each other and all that stuff, but they understand sacrifices need to be made for relationships, and Tyga is finally willing to like make those sacrifices for so it's for the best for both of them, which is really great. And this isn't one that I'm gonna say has had some major emotional impact on me. It has like a little bit in comparison to the other ones, nothing at all. But this is one that I'm like,
Josh,
it's just so cute. It
can I
is.
ask you something?
Yes.
Is it your first rom com?
No, Toradora was not my first rom com.
Oh, okay. Just make sure.
It is. I think it was like my third or fourth. I
Okay.
think it's my favorite rom com.
Okay.
But I mean, it's so good. And I wish I could go in more detail. I don't want to give away too much because I feel like this is one that people haven't watched a ton of.
Yeah.
But I love it.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to watch it at some point.
I thought you've watched it.
No.
Oh, well, I mean, you know how much I recommend it because I'm in love with this
yeah.
show. I could
No,
again another one I could go back to and watch anytime.
I really want to watch it. I just haven't gotten to it.
I might watch an episode or two tonight now.
Oh,
Mhm.
good thing.
Mhm.
You
But
like
yeah,
it that much? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but yeah. If you guys are looking just for something fun, a little silly, that can like pull on your heartstrings a little bit near the end, Toradora is it. It does a phenomenal job. I don't think it compares to some of my earlier ones. Like it's not a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's not Silent Voice. But it is so freaking cute and silly and goofy. I love it. It made me happy.
You just turned into such a dork.
I'm sorry.
It
Hey,
was,
this is my
no,
this,
it was
say
great.
this is
Great.
my Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Toradora is mine.
Oh boy, I was about to get into what my Toradora was.
Oh, oh, put it up. I want to see it.
This is a weird one.
Oh God.
I don't think you could guess what this is based off this thumbnail.
No, I cannot. What is this? What am I looking at? I see a
This
maid.
is. Oh God, I have two shows with a maid.
Yes, you do. You got a problem, my man. I dress
Oh
up like a
no.
maid. At least I don't watch other people look like a maid.
I watched your stream. Oh no.
Oh God, I'm sorry. That was funny. Ugh. All right, but what's this? I'm
This
intrigued.
this is Maid Sama.
Oh, I probably should have guessed that
Yep.
because we've
Yeah.
talked about Maid Sama and I know you love it. Go tell me about it. Tell me more about Maid Sama.
This was actually the hardest one to choose whether I wanted it to be in my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I'll be real, it's dated. It is dated.
Mm-hmm.
If like I went back and rewatched the first episode, and I was like, oh my god, there are some scenes where there's like whole things happening with only like 3 frames of movement, and
Oh,
I'm like, dang, how did I not notice this when I started this show?
that's funny.
But it is it is my first uh anime, yeah, rom com, I guess you'll call it, and it hits different for me. I can't explain it. Like, it's been so long since I watched it, and you know what? In retrospect, since I can't remember much about the plot, maybe it wasn't the best thing to put out here, but it's definitely one that in my brain, emotionally, I'm like, I would watch this again. And that's part of the reason I put it here. Is like
Uh-huh.
I definitely think I would rewatch this show because it. I remember I loved the main two characters. They're some of my favorite, like, main character anime romance characters
Mhm.
ever.
Mhm.
The main male character is so hilarious. He is basically like he is the epitome of like what all men wish they could be.
Oh god, I'm guessing that's the main guy in the
He's
little
just
picture you sent me,
he
right?
just it's yeah, yeah, yeah. He's just like he just lives life just goofing around. He doesn't give a fuck.
Mhm.
He's just like and he's smart as shit.
Mhm.
Life is easy to him. It's like, dang, I wish I could live life like that.
Me too. That'd be nice.
And and yeah, I can't explain this one well because it's really a weird one. But
Yep.
the character dynamics are phenomenal.
Mhm.
It made me laugh. It made me feel warm inside. I like this anime.
That's all you need, as long as you like
Yeah.
it. Okay. Back to a slightly more serious.
Are you gonna hit us with another sad one?
My next two are both actually all my last three are pretty much sad.
Oh my
Kind
gosh, we
kind
only
of.
have three more.
Bro, it's been an hour and 20 minutes of us doing this. You're saying we only have three more? Took us
Yeah.
40 minutes to get through six. I don't know if you've seen this.
What the heck is this?
I know it looks sort of sus like this in the
Now I'm gonna
picture.
search this up, bro.
It's called The Fruit of Grisaya. And one day it just showed up on my Crunchyroll. I was like, we recommend this. And I was like, all right, I'll watch it.
Okay.
So
Whoa, it's got a 4.9 on Crunchyroll. What
it,
the heck?
bro, it's good. It is. So when I first started watching, I was like, okay, main character is the definition of a badass.
Yeah.
He is the coolest motherfucker I've ever seen in anime. And that's saying a lot because I've watched a lot of anime and there's a lot of cool main characters. But this
Mhm.
dude brings it to another level. So I know you haven't watched this. You probably won't watch it. If you do, I mean, I highly recommend it. It's
I mean,
not what you'd
I'm
expect.
I'm interested if you sell me on it.
So okay, basically this guy he's going to school now, and
Uh,
he makes a deal because he sort of works for this sort of company, which I'll get into in a little bit. And he was like, "Listen, the deal is like I just want to live ordinary high school student life now. Can I do
yeah.
that?" And they're like, "Yeah, we'll send you to a school." And he goes to the school, and it's just these five girls who you see in the little picture. They are the five girls at the school, and he like sort of doesn't question it at first. He's like, "Okay, that's weird. There's only five people at this school." But they're all at this school for a reason. They were sent here basically to be hidden, kind of.
Wait, wait, wait. Is this a harem?
No, no, it is not.
Really?
No,
I'm
you.
so surprised by you.
I know
That.
you could. I don't know.
So
There's
I'm
some
just
people.
looking at the thumbnail, and it's
Yeah,
like
I
this
guess
just speaks harem
you
anime.
you could try and say it is, but it's really not because the main character has absolutely no emotional connection to any of them at
Okay.
all. I mean, there are connections obviously made, but
Wait,
like
at
that one.
all?
I mean, kind of. So like, okay, so the one all the way on the left, the like really little girl with brown hair,
Uh,
she ends up becoming the main character's quote unquote daughter for a
what,
couple
what,
episodes.
what, huh? What?
So all of the girls have reasons that they're at the school.
Okay.
The same as the guy does. And basically it's they're all like sort of hiding from something.
Mm-hmm.
So you go through and each one gets like 2 or 3 episodes in season 1 that goes around their backstories. And they're all kind of sad. Yet
Okay.
again, me hitting it with sad stuff. Like the blonde girl, she her best friend died. And she sort of got a like personality disorder because of it, where she becomes that best friend. And
Mm-hmm.
then she'll switch back and she doesn't know the difference. She doesn't know what happens in that time frame. But like her eyes will change color so you can tell at that time. And through season 1, it is the main character basically going his way about helping all of them through their trauma. And it is
Oh,
so
it's one of those shows. Oh, dude, have you heard of Monogatari?
I have heard of it, have not watched it.
Monogatari and is it like a bunny girl senpai kind of like where he's helping them through their issues?
Kinda, but more extreme. A lot
Okay,
more
okay,
extreme.
okay.
Um,
I,
because
I think you'd like Monogatari.
I should probably watch it then.
Okay.
But so eventually we learn that the main character was actually like a one of the greatest hitmen of all
Oh,
time.
what?
Yeah,
What?
he is like an
Plot
actual like
twist.
he's an actual like bounty hunter like for this organization. He's an
Okay then.
assassin and he's phenomenal at his job. One of the greatest snipers to ever exist. Um,
Hmm.
and we don't get through like that backstory till season 2 into season 3. Um, but him helping these girls initially through the trauma, and he has the girl with the pink hair in the back. I'm pretty sure they knew each other beforehand. I think because they like lived on the same street or something. And the girl in the with the red hair up front, she knew his sister. But it's kind of cute-ish a little bit because I mean he shows zero emotion until like the very end. Um, because that's what he was like trained to do.
So
Um,
you're telling me this isn't a fan service show?
this one has a little bit,
Oh, okay,
a
okay.
little bit. Not, it's not like High School DxD. I absolutely despise High School
No,
DxD for
not
that.
that type of
Yeah,
fan service.
but okay, so there's a little bit. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not extreme. If it
Uh,
was extreme, I would not like it this much. Um, I think that each of the characters has pretty dark backstories, and
okay.
going through them and him helping them through the trauma in his own way, which is not always something that I think is ethical. It works though. It works really well. And
Oh,
it got me hooked. Well, okay, so I'll give away the blonde girl because hers is probably the least sad, I'd say. Um, so basically, she wanted to die. I know I said least sad. Um, and he like knocks her out and puts her in a coffin.
wait.
And then starts to put dirt on top of the coffin and
Okay.
is burying her alive.
And then she has a panic attack and is like,
She
no.
does. She has a panic attack, and it's horrible.
Bro.
Like I'm pretty sure she actually like pisses herself in the coffin.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
little this one's a little
That's
disgusting.
horrible, bro.
This anime can be graphic. I will say that. But it is her, and he doesn't stop until she says like the fact that she wants to live. She's like, I know like who I want to be, what I want
Okay.
to be. Like I understand, and because basically it was, I don't remember. I think her friend committed suicide. She jumped off the building of the hospital that both of them were in,
Uh,
um, which is why she picked up her personality and it became a part of her.
yeah.
And she was like, I don't have anything or anyone to live for. I don't know why I would keep doing this. And then he's basically like, live for yourself. He goes, why are you living for someone else? Like, take your life into your own hand. It's your life. Uh,
This concept of like, so is it basically him using like controversial methods to teach them lessons?
I think you can figure that from the first
Yeah.
one I told you.
This reminds me of World's Greatest Teacher, the manga I told you about,
Yes,
where it's
a
literally
little
just
bit.
a dude using the most unconventional methods to teach all his students like serious life lessons.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. It's so good. And the like youngest girl, all the way on the left with the little brown hair.
Hmm.
Um, there's one. There's only one episode in this where I really don't like it, and it's the one where she's first like, "You're my papa," and she gives him money, like a shit ton of money to be like, "I want you to just like be my papa." And she says "papa," and I'm like, "Ah, that makes me uncomfy."
Oh boy.
And she doesn't understand like a father daughter relationship because
Hmm.
she's also never had a father, like a real father figure in her life for a long period of time, which you understand when you watch the anime. Um, and he takes it incredibly seriously. He's like, I will be your father, and if the entire world is against you, I don't care what it is, I will defend you. And he does. And it is, oh my God, it's so good. But yes, if you're looking for something very different, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I would that
Okay.
I would say that one episode I don't like some of the stuff it does because it's not it is fan servicey and not cool, especially because she's like a little kid.
Yeah.
But besides that, it also gets weird in the last season. Like you're like,
Yeah.
this took a turn that I was not expecting, but it does it in a good
Okay.
way. So pretty
Okay.
good.
I'm definitely gonna give it like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah,
See if it hooks me.
do it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, time for my next one, I guess.
Mm.
I'm trying to think what I should do next. I think we might as well just get this out of the way. Even though it
Oh no.
literally just came out,
Uh huh.
even though it is so new,
Do it. Do it to him.
why would just send the stupid here we
I
go.
was gonna say I think I can figure out what it is just from that. Oh,
Dude,
I have to download it. What the heck? That's
why?
a cause it's a JPE file, not
Uh,
JPEG. But it's okay.
well,
It's
it
Chainsaw Man.
is Chainsaw Man.
Let's
Dude,
go. It's so good.
I didn't think I would be hyped for this show. I didn't think I'd care. It's like,
You're
what is
wrong.
this? This is some dude with a chainsaw for a head. What? Who would watch that? That's weird.
But then
Holy crap!
you
I
also
am
realize you've never met a more relatable protagonist in your entire life.
the one thing that all men can relate with.
Give me them
The one
titties.
thing,
Give me them
and
titties.
he embodies that. He just
That's all he lives. It's when I actually like think about it, I'm like, that's kind of sad. But I'm also like, the fact that that's the only man this or the only thing that this man is like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna live and fight for is them tits. I'm like, you know what? I respect it. Good for you,
no.
Denji.
But I'm seriously addicted to this show.
I wish
One of the
more was out right now. I need to watch more. It's so good. The
one
animation's
of
phenomenal.
yeah, the animation is probably some of the best I've ever seen
Mm-hmm.
in anime in general. And one of the things that really hooked me is the intros and exits. The fact that they put that extra mile in,
Oh yeah, so
and
good.
I think that intro is probably one of the best anime intros of all time.
Oh yeah,
It,
it's so good.
I literally, I didn't think I was gonna be interested in the show until I watched the intro, and from the intro, I felt like I knew every single main character. I felt like I was attached to every single main character, and I felt like I have to watch this show.
Yeah.
It's like, how
Yep.
how did they do that? It
Now,
the
have you read any of the manga, or have you
no, I
only watched?
haven't.
Okay, okay. I'm not gonna spoil anything then. But
Oh, you've read? Okay.
yeah, Aiden sort of convinced me to, and I do not regret it. Chainsaw Man will only get better.
Oh God.
Yep.
I've heard it gets way more sad, like lots of people dying.
Yeah, it's sort of like Jujutsu Kaisen in that way. I like Chainsaw Man a lot more than Jujutsu Kaisen, though. Not to say Jujutsu
Yeah.
Kaisen's bad. It's not. It is
No, it's
phenomenal.
not.
But
Jujutsu Kaisen's phenomenal. I'll just say this now. It's not on my list though. Gotta be real.
it is not on my list either. I don't have another
It's
fighting anime on my list.
it's one of my favorites, Jujutsu Kaisen, but it's more like a top 20. It just doesn't hit
Yeah.
my top 10.
Like I mean, you and I both go for things that sort of either one give us the greatest like smiles and good feels of all time, or
Mhm.
that hit us on an emotional level. And a lot of fighting and like shonen anime just don't do that.
I mean,
Like
they do though. They can. It depends on the show.
that's why most. And I think JJK, Demon Slayer, a lot of the new age, Fire Force, that stuff, I'm like, it doesn't hit me as hard. Maybe because I didn't grow up with it either. Like I haven't spent the
Mhm.
last 8 years watching it. Meanwhile, One Piece, I'm like, I've known these characters for this long. Naruto, it's been out for a while. It has a huge influence for a reason. It has so many episodes for a reason that you can like really love everything about it. JJK, Demon Slayer, Fire Force, I think they just came out, and like Black Clover. For me,
Mhm.
they just came out a little late to have the same emotional impact.
One of the things I love about the recent newest anime, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, I love how they literally have the exact same trope of the three main characters. One's an emo boy, one's the goofy idiot,
Yep.
and then one's the, the girl changes depending on each
Yep.
anime. And yet they all feel completely unique. They all
Yeah.
feel like different characters. They're really
Yeah.
interesting. I actually care about them.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like at this point, every time I see a show with that dynamic, I'm like, oh, there's the Sasuke type, there's the Naruto.
Yep. You can pick them out. You can pick out
I,
that big three.
I can't really relate
Hmm.
any of the female characters with Sakura because I'm sorry, Sakura.
I despise her. Hinata so much better.
Well, no. I like Sakura. I just hate how they wrote her.
Oh, that's fair.
I hate. They were just like, fans are annoyed she's not getting enough time. Let's give her a single moment where she's like, ha, I'm the best.
And
And
then the
then
other two are just so much better.
immediately just have Sasuke and Naruto one up her and then just like forget she was a character.
Yep. Yep. That's what happens
On
when you're
the
support.
on the other side of things, Chainsaw Man Power is incredibly interesting, unique
Yes.
character. I love their character dynamic.
Hmm.
Like it just feels like an interesting character. And the same thing goes for Jujutsu Kaisen. I forgot her name. Starts with an N. I know that much. Hammer Girl.
Yep.
Hammer Girl. Phenomenal character. I'm interested in her character. I want to know
She's cool.
more about that character.
Yeah. I will say, so there's only 7 episodes out right now for Chainsaw Man.
Mm.
They are all so good. And episode 7 was obviously a little gross, with what happened in that.
Was it?
Have you watched it?
What do you mean? I'm into that.
Gross. Okay.
It's a
But
joke. It's a joke.
I figured.
It's a
But
joke.
like it.
Yo, I found the animator on Twitter who had to animate that.
Oh my god! Please tell me
I was
he
like,
had so many positive things to say about that.
I couldn't translate it, bro. I don't know what he
Oh,
said.
that's fair. But like even those side characters who like we barely know anything about, they just got introduced 2 episodes ago when they got in the hotel. I've fallen in love with every single character in Chainsaw Man.
Yeah,
All
same
of
here.
them are awesome, and I mean Power best girl. That is my opinion. I freaking love Power, but and like
Yeah.
Makima's great
We're
too.
gonna have to disagree. Makima's best, but whatever.
Makima's great too. I'm not denying that. I love Power, partially because she's insane, but
That's
yeah,
we're going back to the type.
yeah. All right. You ready to move on to the next one, or you got something
Yeah,
else you
let's
want to
go
say?
for the next one. We
All
could
right.
talk about Chainsaw Man's so new. We could talk about that for a whole freaking episode. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh yeah, we could. All right. My next one is one I know you probably have never heard of.
Okay.
It is called Plastic Memories.
Yep, never heard of it.
So this anime, I watched it pretty recently, like a few weeks ago,
Mm.
and it deals with the idea that you don't live forever.
Okay.
And it does it in a pretty good way. So there are these things called giftias, and they're basically people, but they only have a lifespan of 9.5 years. And after that,
Interesting.
they have to be retrieved, and all of their memories and everything are erased,
Dang, they took the Titan serum.
basically. um, and I think this is pretty old. Just looking
Okay.
at the animation style, I think it's older.
Okay.
So the two people you see right there are the main characters. The dude
Yeah.
is the main character, and then that Giftia is Isle or Isla,
Mm-hmm.
Isla, and she is a Giftia, and they become partners working for a part of the government that retrieves other Giftias when they reach the end of their time, because if they go past that time, they basically lose control of who they are and become like insanely powerful and will go on a rampage, which is bad. And we see that happen once. But the main character doesn't know that Isla, and he falls in love with Isla, obviously. He doesn't know that her lifespan is so short when they become partners. Like it's only, I think, 2,000 hours, which is not a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 3 months or something like that. Um, and it's one season because that's all you can really have. And it is once he finds out that's when like romance between them sort of starts to exist, and it deals with a lot of that, both of them trying to accept the fact that it's at that point they only have like a month left together, and they need to figure out how they want to spend it together. Um,
Mhm.
and it is, it was really hard watching the last like 4 episodes and watching both of them try to accept the fact that she only had a month to live because they knew the end was coming. And the last scene, like it shattered me. I sobbed. Um, it is, it's a little different in the way it does things than other animes, which is part of why I think I fell in love with it. Um, because usually I wouldn't put something that I've watched less than a month ago on a top 10 or top anything list. But this one I think is going to stay on there because I know I could rewatch it and I'd feel the same way.
Yeah.
Um, but the relationship between them is so good, and both of them for so long are like, well, she especially is like, I can't have him near me because it will only hurt more when I'm gone because I know I'm going to be gone. And it's her slowly realizing that it would be so much better for both of them to have those happy memories that they can share together, because once she's gone, and
Yeah.
there's nothing else for him to remember her by. So then they both realize, I just want to spend this last month with you and be able to enjoy it as like a normal boyfriend girlfriend would.
Dang, that's deep.
It hit pretty hard. I mean, I haven't been in the best mental state recently, so this one hit me definitely too hard. Maybe that's why I loved it so much, but I think I'm gonna end up rewatching it in a couple months just so I
Have
can.
you ever have you ever seen Angel Beats?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I don't know why
yeah,
those two characters remind me of that.
no, I think I can understand that because it's
Yeah.
accepting death instead of trying to fight it.
Yeah, dude, that final reveal of like why they're connected,
It's insane,
that
absolutely
hit
insane.
hard.
And I
That
will
hit
say,
hard.
Angel Beats was in discussion for me for being on here
It
because I
was
liked it.
also in my brain. Dude, there's so many good in. Like
Yep.
honestly, I kind of am rethinking my list and I'm like, yeah, I would have done it differently
Yeah.
if we had to go through this again.
That's, I will say, my last one is the only one that I had absolutely no question of putting on here because it is my number one anime all time.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I think I have two more.
You do have two more, yes.
Okay. So, there's one that okay, yeah, no. We're going with this one. We're going with this one. Here we go. Okay. Let's bring it to something more wholesome now. Tr-
Yes! This is
Have you
so
watched
good.
this show?
Yes, I have, and it is
Dude,
freaking adorable. So,
this
it is Kaguya-sama, Love is War. This show is so freaking cute and
it is one
funny.
of my favorite shows.
So good.
I've watched through this show 3 times now.
That's amazing. I love that you've done
Um,
that.
I love every character in the show. I love all the comedy skits. It's basically the show is really just a I mean, it has a like overarching narrative timeline development, but
Yep.
it is mostly just little skits of
Mhm.
these characters going through these funny situations,
Mhm.
specifically related to two characters who like each other, who don't want to admit it,
Yep.
and then all these other characters getting involved, not knowing what the hell's going on, and just causing a whole ruckus. And there's even a narrator involved who somehow adds to the comedy.
The narrator is hilarious. He is so
Yeah,
funny.
and it's a funny thing because a lot of times the narrator turns people off to the show because they're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
why would I want to watch a show with a narrator?" It is like the best part of the comedy is the fact this narrator, because you get this internal monologue of people, and you get somebody explaining
It's so funny.
why they're dumb like this. So like,
And like
because
it's so great because they're the two smartest students in the school.
yeah, they're
But
like the
they're
smart.
so dumb when it comes to each other.
Yeah, they're smart students in school, and you get this opportunity to this narrator to explore how humans a lot of times in emotional situations just act completely irrational.
Yep.
And you and I feel like the narrator really helps tone down, like, cuz if there was no narrator, you'd just be like, why are they such idiots? Why are they they're just like doing dumb things and they're like not intelligent and they're not figuring out what's going on or what to do correctly.
Yep.
But the fact that there's a narrator in there to like explain like just like give that little comedic detail,
Yeah, it's so good. It is
it
so good.
eases you into, you can now explore every single character's inner monologue and
Mm-hmm.
understand every single character's reasoning for why they do things,
Yep.
and then do that through a comedic lens.
Uh-huh.
And it is so good. There's no show like it.
No, it is so funny and so silly. Uh and I mean the relationship between the two main characters is so good because both of them refuse to admit that they love each other first. And
Mhm.
it is so funny watching them try to plot how to get the
Yeah,
other one
and
to
they're
say
both
it first. It is hilarious.
masterminds, so
Oh
like they
yeah.
constantly have like something in plan for like when their plan doesn't work. And like,
And
it just keeps getting more and more ridiculous as the skit goes on.
it is so funny when pink hair girl, who is an absolute dimwit, is the one
Yeah,
who
Chica.
Chica, when she realizes things instead of them, she's like, guys, like it's emotions. It's not that hard. And they're like, what do you mean? It's not a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Yeah, the dynamic of all the characters, Ishigami, just the
Yep.
depressed
Oh my god, it's so funny.
like nerd in the corner.
Yep. It's so funny.
Uh, I love every single character, and even in these later one, and I could see reasonable complaint about it is it's a romance anime and it's 3 seasons already. I like it's hard to get through a 1 season romance anime. It's hard,
Yes, it
but
is.
this is definitely more of a comedy driven show. It is more about the character dynamic than it is like the romance is the central theme, but it's not like the end point you're trying to reach constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of shows, I mean, that is what you're trying to reach. You're like, just
Mhm.
say you love each other, just do it, and then be together. That's not it in Love is War. Love is War has so much more to it, and it is such a great rom com.
All right, I think it's
All right.
like we're running out of time, so might as
All
well
right.
just go on to the
All
next
right.
one.
You ready for my number one?
This is your number one. Oh
Number one.
boy.
And before I even send this, this is what I consider to be the greatest piece of media I have ever consumed all time.
Really?
Cowboy Bebop.
Oh.
I I have never been so just enthralled with something that I could go back and pick out individual episodes that I want to watch. Every
The
single
five.
Yep, every
Yeah.
single character has so much depth to them. And I love the fact that it's different from a lot of shows in the fact that one, it's older. It is a lot older. But the main story has already happened. And now it is the characters dealing with the consequences of that main story and trying to overcome it.
Yeah.
And
Well, main story more like their life has already happened.
oh yeah, that's the main story. It'd be
Yeah,
their
yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. But it's not the
Because like
main story.
yeah, it is because I mean you could take each one of them and go back through their life and that be the main story.
Okay. Okay, I see what you
You
mean.
could have single animes from each of their lives.
Okay.
Now it is all of their lives crossing, all of them lost, trying to
Yeah.
figure out what any of it means. And I mean, I can relate to all of these characters so well. All of them missing something. Ed and Ein are freaking adorable. Jet, the grizzled police officer, retired police officer, trying to figure out like what it means, what happened. Faye Valentine, who was literally in ice and is now back alive trying to remember who she was and has to pay off this insane debt that she never asked for. And then Spike trying to deal with the love that he never managed to have because
Yeah.
of what his past was. And every episode being just
And the
its
fact
own
that they don't
story is so
yeah,
good.
the fact that they don't reveal any of those backstories until you watch through the show,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you have to like slowly get through them, like you have these characters at their base level, you have this identity who you think they are, and then you get their backstory and
Yep.
you truly come to understand, oh, this is how this
Mm.
person is. This is why this person is the way they are.
And that's so one of my favorite episodes from, and obviously my screensaver is Cowboy Bebop. It is Spike with Bang next to him, because I mean, there's so much I could say about Cowboy. I could talk about this for more longer than I could talk about One Piece, and that's saying something.
No, I'll be honest. Like you've made me reassess my entire list. Cowboy Bebop should be in my list.
It
But
is
to be fair,
so
I'm
good.
kind of glad it's not because we got to talk about more
Oh,
anime.
we did not. I'm so amazed that we did not have a single same thing on our
I
list.
know.
Um,
Wait, that's kind of crazy.
that is crazy. I will say. So I've talked to Aiden a lot about this. For those of you who don't know, Aiden, he is one of my best friends. I talk to him constantly, typically about anime. Um, and Anthony knows him really well too. And Cowboy Bebop, he is actually the one who like really got me into it, along with my cousin, Kale. He really convinced me to watch this. He goes, "It's one of my favorite things I've ever watched." I was like, "All right, if you're saying that, I need to watch it." I watched it, and there are so many different things I felt, and so many different philosophies I realized throughout this show. Um, and you see all of these characters grow so much, trying to overcome all the things that they couldn't handle and were trying to run from. It is, and I mean, Spike, Faye, and Jet. Ed and Ein maybe less so because they're a dog and a little kid who don't fully understand what's
Yeah,
happening.
they
Even
don't get as
despite,
much development.
let's say, despite Ed being a super genius. But Jet, I love the fact that he has the watch and he goes to see his lost love who is found someone else now, and that person is someone who Jet has a bounty on and is trying to bring in, but he lets them go. And then he leaves the broken watch that was stuck on the time of when like he like left or something like that.
Hmm.
He leaves it and he finally realizes he can move on from that part of his life. There's more to it than just sitting and waiting for that.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal arc.
It
And
is all of it's so good, and I don't have a single episode that I can say I did not enjoy. Everything about this I was obsessed with.
I mean, mushroom episode.
Bro, Mushroom episode was hilarious. There
Okay,
there
fair
was
enough.
there was so much deep stuff within here for each of their backstories that Mushroom episode I think was needed in between
Yeah,
them
that's true. That's
to
true.
sort of give you a break from just, oh my god, I didn't realize all their lives were this sad.
Well, there was that one episode in the middle though where they all like die in the spaceship, don't they? And then there was
Oh,
like,
that
never
yeah,
mind.
the alien in the spaceship that was like
Yeah, well,
the lobster that they left in the fridge for like 5 years.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's because the show got canceled and
It
the
did. Yeah.
animators were like, I guess we need to add a final episode."
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what
So,
it was.
that's
Um,
one way to do it.
but I will say, and I may get heat for this, in my opinion, Spike is the best written character of all time.
I
I
don't. I don't disagree.
I absolutely love Spike. He is so great. The ending of Cowboy Bebop leaves a lot of people questioning, and I think it is the perfect ending. I've spoken on this many times that I think, or not I think, I wish there was more because I want to know more and I want more of this, but I would not give anything to change the ending that they had because it is perfect. It is
Yeah,
exactly what I think this anime needed, and it is far, far, far above everything else I have on my list. My favorite anime of all time.
yeah, I have to say, I think it was perfectly crafted. I think it was the perfect amount of episodes. It really got every single character perfectly developed. Its ending was, it had this mysterious feel. And one of my favorite things about the show is that it is a genre blender.
Mm-hmm.
So it is this blend between a film noir, which is like
Mm-hmm.
more of like a 40s style, like gangster film style, right?
Yep.
Where things are dark. There's a lot of silence involved. The dialogue is subtle. It's a mixture between like a cowboy style where you're hunting people down. You have like your local sheriff, your bandits you care about,
Mm-hmm.
and then a mix between a sci-fi, which is just such a fascinating mix. And then to add on to all of this, you have superb and phenomenal development of characters who already have these interesting backstories who just their interactions are enough to be interested in, and then you start getting their backstories, and you're like, oh my gosh! So each one of these characters, are, you want to delve down what they are, what made them who they are.
Yep. And
I I do have to agree. I think it's one of the best anime of all time. It's definitely, and I don't know how it's not on my list.
yeah, that's I mean, episode 1, the ending of See You Space Cowboy.
hmm
And then the ship blowing up is just so good. It is masterfully
Yeah.
written. Everyone who worked on Cowboy Bebop did a phenomenal job. I'm gonna leave it at that. If people haven't watched it and want to watch it themselves, there's a lot to unpack in this show. Watch it. If you pick anything from my list, Cowboy Bebop is what you have to watch. It is so good. But
I agree. I agree. It also has it's famous for being one of the first like really good dubs because it has video game voice actors.
yeah,
Famously, Steve Bloom
mm-hmm.
playing uh, why am I blanking on his name? Spike Spiegel,
Yeah,
um, who is a really famous video game voice actor.
yeah.
Okay, I'm in a predicament, Josh. I can't decide what my last should be because I know it should be my number one. But there's another anime I realized I forgot to add to my list
Well,
that I'm like,
why don't you talk about it anyways? Go right ahead.
okay,
I don't think we've already went for
okay.
2 hours. Just keep it going.
How about this? I'm going to quickly talk about this anime and then conclude with what I have to say is my favorite show of all time.
I like it. That
So
works.
first, if I were to replace
Ooh.
any anime on my list, I would replace Maid Sama and put Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon is also one of these unique animes because it's kind of a gun-based gangster style
Uh huh.
anime.
Yeah.
It's very similar in style to Cowboy Bebop.
Mm-hmm.
All of these characters already have backstories once you meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're superbly interesting. Everyone smokes cigarettes. It's a vibe. Don't do it in real life, kids.
Bad for your lungs.
But like for the imagery,
Cool.
wonderful.
Yep.
It is about, to summarize it real quickly, it is about um, this main character who is just this guy in this white, average worker, button-up white shirt.
Mm-hmm.
He's a white collar worker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he lives in Japan, and he goes on his business trip where he has to deliver some data. He doesn't really know what it is. When he finds out, he's on this cruise ship for this business trip, and a gang of pirates in the Pacific Ocean from a Russian mob
Oh.
show up on a PT boat and hijack the boat, capture him,
Mm-hmm.
and they're basically like, "Oh yeah, your company used you as bait for this data. Uh, you were a pawn this whole time. Just give us the data already." He ends up joining up with this crew of pirates, quits his job,
Mm-hmm.
joins this Russian mafia in the Pacific Ocean,
Mm-hmm.
and ends up in this like island that is basically it's like Moss Eisley. It's just like the center of scum and villainy,
Yeah.
and just like all these gangsters, all these horrible people live there who pirate to make a living, and they steal and kill, and it's about this regular dude trying to live this new life.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his own backstory, his own family, and all these other characters have their own backstories and characters and reasons why they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is another case, and I think we've said this for every anime so far, but it is another case of superbly written characters, wonderful character dynamic, and just this vibe, aroma, and feel that is unmatched. There's no other genre of anime like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently an incomplete story. That's one of the reasons I didn't put it on my list initially. It is not done,
Mm-hmm.
but it is one of my favorite shows
Yeah.
of anime. Period.
It sounds awesome. Like they're
It also has one of my favorite best girls in the world, Revi. So,
is that girl right there? Because if so, I
yeah.
fully understand.
Yep.
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 That's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
But like, Yeah, I mean this show sounds awesome. And I looked it up while you were talking about it because I have not heard of it, and it looks very cool. It looks like something I would love to watch. So it's now on my watch list.
Okay, this is the last one. I'm gonna try and do this quick. This is the show that got me into anime, and a lot of people are gonna argue it is not anime.
Oh,
But
I knew this.
Avatar: The Last Airbender
Yep.
has got to be my number one. I am sorry. And also, just bundle in with that Legend of Korra. I know people hate Legend of Korra. I don't care. Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra are the reason I got into anime. I watched them and then watched them again and
Mm-hmm.
then watched them one more time. And then finally I started Naruto because I got a little bored.
Mm-hmm.
They ha- like summarize the soul of anime, of creating this dynamic group of characters placed in a really interesting, fascinating, creative world,
Mm-hmm.
blends of cultural identities, unique power system that looks amazing, has amazing backstory, has amazing development
Mm-hmm.
with the characters. The characters develop with their power system. The elemental power system is one of my favorite things in any show ever.
It is very cool.
I mean, to me, it's 10 times more interesting than any superhero power ever created. It's just the idea of like, in order to harness your powers, you have to be like, you have to be one with an element. You have to be one with nature. You have to be one with the world. And like, you have to master yourself in this way. It is such a brilliant concept. It is one of my favorite shows of all time, and it always will be. I think it is my favorite show of all time.
That's I can't argue this. And people who say Avatar is an anime, just shut up. No one cares. Your opinion does
Well,
not matter here.
no, look, I understand. I
I
understand.
get it, but also they're
No Japanese animator ever put his hands on this. Okay, I get it, but
the amount of
it
influence it had on Avatar is, I mean, you can
it
just see it.
you can't say that Avatar isn't in the discussion of animes. That's the thing. That's
No.
my argument. Like you can't say that it's not. It was done by a Korean animation studio.
Mhm.
It's not Japanese, and it was produced by a bunch of American guys.
But like at the same time, for those of you who care that much, what are you doing with your life? Don't care that much because Avatar is
Look,
a
I'm
beautiful piece of media.
do not pick a war
I,
with the
I,
audience.
I dare them to fight me. Fight me. Because here's the thing: is it's your opinion. Who cares?
Fair
You
enough.
know, even if it's not considered anime, it's
You
still
know
your
what?
favorite
You know
piece
what,
of
Josh?
animation, and that
You know what,
that
Josh?
counts.
You're right.
Yeah,
Guys, screw you. You all suck.
exactly.
Avatar's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. You may have
Yeah.
sat here for 2 hours to hear us say this, but yeah, screw you guys. There's, I mean, Aang, Zuko, Katara, Sokka, Toph. They're all such great characters to see.
Mhm.
Zuko is such a great antagonist, eventually becoming part of the team, sort of. And
Yeah.
then I mean, easily by far favorite character, and I'm pretty sure you can figure this out. Uncle Iroh.
Yeah.
He is the greatest mentor in any form of anime or animation of all time. He
I agree.
is such his philosophy, his ideas of life. The one episode I cannot believe I forget what the episode is called, but where it follows Uncle Iroh, and then we
Mhm.
eventually see him sit down by the tree with his son's picture. That is that is so good because you realize how much he is putting into making
Elsa
Zuko.
Bossing,
Yeah.
Bossing say, yeah, one of
Yes.
my
Yeah.
favorite episodes of all time. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'll admit, I watched the show for the first time around when COVID started,
Mhm.
and it like helped me through so much emotional issues in my life. Like
Mhm.
some of the stuff that Iroh says, some of like the inner deep things that he says about like how to live life and like the balance and nature of everything.
They hit.
They stick with me to this day. They
Yeah.
are phenomenal quotes. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. That's I watched a video. I think the guy on YouTube, his name is Sage's Rain. And it's like a 25-minute long video where he goes through Uncle Iroh and that episode specifically. And it's so good when like I took a step back and realized like, oh my god, Uncle Iroh is actually one of the most based characters I have ever
He
heard ever
is.
speak. He is so incredibly well written. And I know he's not a main character and like barely a side character in comparison to like Zuko or anyone like that, but
Hmm.
the impact he has on the show is ridiculous. And then you have a main character like Aang, and there's so much development to Aang. He is so good. And like, I know it's not in my top 10. I know I didn't include it. This is one I knew was going to be on your list no matter what.
Hmm.
It is I honestly cannot state how great Avatar is. And I guarantee anyone listening to this has probably watched Avatar. It's just so good.
I mean, if anyone clicks the link to my channel ever, you can just see that I was inspired by Avatar
Yeah, very
for the
inspired.
main symbol of my channel. So
Yeah, yeah, that
I love
that'll
it.
do it. Uh, that is again that may be a hot take to some people because they don't consider it anime, but it is overall phenomenal. So I think it is a very fair take, and I respect it fully as your number one.
Yeah. I think the best way to wrap this up is, in retrospect, I would change a few things about my list.
Hmm.
You made me realize that there are some phenomenal anime, whether it be Full Metal, JoJo, Cowboy Bebop, especially. Cowboy Bebop definitely is in my top 10.
Yeah,
Uh, it's an impossible thing to make a perfect list
yeah,
because guess
it
what?
is.
I love all of them.
Exactly. And that's like I know like
I
Cyberpunk
could,
and Your Lie in April. I wish I could fit them on my list. I didn't think
yeah,
about Cyberpunk and I'm sad about that, but I it's hard because I don't know what I'd replace because all of these have a special place in my heart.
yeah, they are all phenomenal shows.
Well,
I feel like that was a good conclusion for anyone who doesn't want to hear about Avatar in an anime discussion. I'm
yes.
sorry.
Well, we we are so happy for those of you who have stuck through for now over 2 hours of us talking about anime. I I loved this. This was
There,
so
look,
much fun.
Josh, there's a community out there who strives for this content, and if we
Yeah.
can just get it to them,
I will do my best to reach out to them and go, this is what you want. You can harass me all you want, but honestly, I this is so much fun. I'm so happy we did this. It may have been twice the length of what we usually do,
yep.
but it's so because I mean we do this constantly, but we've never sat and actually taken like an actual like big picture of like what are the things that have
No.
affected me or made me like the happiest when I've watched them. And now I think about it, I'm like a lot of the things that most people would put on their list just are not even close to me because we've
Oh
watched
yeah.
different things and I'm like, yeah, they just have a lot of impact on me.
Oh yeah. If I went for like the critical list of like, oh, this is like top 10, like number wise, like
Oh yeah.
based off of like no bias, the list would be like, oh, JoJo, Attack on Titan, Naruto. It would all be,
Yeah.
it'd just be the ones everyone already knows.
Yeah. Which
That's,
sucks. We hopefully we gave you some things today that maybe you can look at for yourself, maybe you can learn something, maybe you can enjoy it. But I think overall, we just want to say thank you because we are so happy that you guys stuck through with us and
yeah.
that you enjoy this. We're more than happy to have you here, and I think we both hope you have a wonderful night. Anthony,
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I love you.
love you. Mwah.
Bye.